How you doing, Jim?
I am fantastic, but I'm improving.
Good. Even better.
There you go. Um, Susan, are you seeing that one thing that it's not streaming? Okay, cool. Um, yeah, things are going well. I have been on the road this morning. Had to take Terry to a doctor's appointment. Got home a few minutes ago. Excuse me, made it back to the world headquarters a few minutes ago. And so we're locked, cocked, and ready to rock. This is my third cup of coffee, one of which was venti from
Mm,
Starbucks. I was bad this morning, Stu.
that's all right. It
I
happens.
rewarded myself with a Chick-fil-A sandwich and
Mm.
uh, and some hash rounds for breakfast.
I tell you what, I like their breakfast,
Hmm.
especially that egg
Yeah,
white grill. Good one.
yeah, right. I do the piece of chicken. If I'm going to Chick-fil-A, man, I'm gonna have me some of that deep fried goodness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there you go. And it's
Hey, Chip.
always my pleasure. Anyway,
That is right. That is right. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Um, have you noticed that when your weeks are just so busy and
hmm
crazy
hmm
that it is one of those weeks when you get the most accomplished?
yes,
You know what I
because
mean?
you're on
Like
such a roll, you're like, ah, screw it, I'll do this too real quick.
I'm getting stuff done. I mean, this is one of those weeks where we got Naval Academy graduations. My
That's
son
today,
graduate.
isn't it?
Yep. Friday. Guess who
Okay.
graduates today? My
Um,
son.
that
My
that
son
little
graduates college.
that little boy that I
Yes,
remember when I started working out with you, and you published an article about you felt guilty putting the squat bar on his little shoulders. You were
I did.
like, this
Felt
might be a
horrible.
little much for him.
Felt horrible doing that. He was like 6'4" and 140 pounds in the eighth grade. Right. I was like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was like, his little bony shoulders couldn't handle that barbell. So I was like, yeah,
How tall is
let's
he
figure this
now?
out.
What is he like?
He's six
6'12"?
four, 6'4" still.
Oh
Just
wow.
he's
Okay.
200 pounds now. So
Okay.
anyway,
And
he's a grown man, and it's good to see. He's
Johnny's
off the
six
he's off
four.
the payroll.
He's off the payroll. He's moving home, ain't he? He's
Yeah,
gonna be getting frostbite on his nose from
for a little bit.
having his face stuck in your fridge. You're like,
That is
it's
true.
not neat,
That is true.
mom.
Yeah, yeah. Grocery bills going up. No, it's just
So,
an exciting week, and I got so much done. Remember that course I've been working on, Jim, that you've been telling me I need to do?
oh, you did the real time workout with Stu?
No, not that one. Though I will. Why not? I'll get it done this week. Why not?
I had to slide that in because, like, yeah, that's the course I've been
I'm
talking to you about for
getting it
over a
done.
decade.
I'm getting it done.
Um,
Why
you
not?
got you got your
Yeah, my
you
never
got
quit
your never
mindset.
quit. Okay,
Never quit mindset course to go with the book. Four
okay,
and a half hours. 4.5 hours of me coaching.
okay,
43 years of coaching and personal experience into this baby.
okay. Hang
Four
on
and a
one
half
sec.
hours.
You're writing some serious copy. 43 years of experience in 4.5 hours by former Navy SEAL, Spec Ops Club coach at the U.S. Naval Academy, 90% graduation rate from buds, um, author of what? How many fitness books?
42.
42 books. And how many, just ballpark estimate, because I'm writing copy now. I'm in that
Okay.
mode. I'm how many people do you think you have trained over the years?
Oh, thousands. I
Tens of
mean,
thousands, probably. Now,
yeah.
thinking about training like you had your hands on them, through Spec Ops Club, through
Yeah.
Heroes of Tomorrow, through all that. It's got to be over 10,000, because if you
Yeah.
take that over 20 years,
Yes.
and however many people in this, I mean, it's got to be 10,000 plus people.
Easy.
Okay. So, and this is, this next one might be a little harder. How many of them became Navy SEAL, a PJ, some kind of special forces, special operations type people?
Um, we're over 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1,500 plus special operators, um, or special ops.
Yeah.
Okay. That's got to be either the most or damn close to the most of anybody who trains people for this particular vocation of anyone in the world. I know you don't like to play that stuff up, and I know there's
I
other
know.
dudes that do it, but I mean, you've
I've been
got
doing
that
it the
base,
longest too.
right? And a lot of
So
the guys who are doing it now, you trained.
that is true.
So, okay. And so you mean to tell me that this guy is going to train me on mindset? This guy in 4.5 years can explain to me how to have a never quit mindset, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in business. Oh, by the way, you're also have been a successful business owner for over 2 decades, making 6 figures minimum per year for 2 decades as a one-person operation. You
Yes.
don't have an assistant. You don't have a tech support person. You don't have a customer support person. You are a true one-man band the whole way through.
I am.
Okay, so you got a few things to teach there too. So you mean that, while training all these guys, while operating your business, while being a suburban dad, while caring for a family member, you're
Yeah.
doing all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that this dude is going to teach me his secrets for having a no quit mindset? Who else would be interested in what he has to say in how to be and how to have a never quit mindset? I'm just curious,
That's
because
really good, Jim.
if you're not typing me into the comments right now, you're a dipshit. Okay, that's all it is. Sorry, I'm just going to call it like I see it, because the one thing about Stu that and I've known Stu for 13,
Yeah.
14 years now.
Yeah.
And I still remember I'm like driving down the road talking to him about fitness. He's like, because I hired him to be my coach, but I really wanted to be his friend. But he's like, hey, what's this ebook coach thing? And I'm like, oh, well, I do, and vomited on him for like 15 minutes. And then I made him do a bunch of stuff against his will, and then helped him become a #1 bestseller, helped him sell a bunch more books and stuff. So
Yeah. You
my
started
point,
coaching me.
my point though, is that when someone who knows what the hell they're talking about does something like this, the only question you should ask is, where can I get it? When can I get
Mm.
my hands on it? Not how much is it? Don't worry about how much it is. It's probably worth a car payment. And I ain't talking about no broke old Pinto either. I'm talking about a car payment for something nice, like a Bronco.
There you go.
Um, so Stu,
Yes.
you probably didn't think about any of this, did you?
For my sales copy,
Yeah.
not all of it. I definitely was going to do 43 years. That's why that kind of came out there first.
Yeah.
But now you've helped me add a few others I'm going to put in there for sure.
I'm gonna write the sales letter for you. I'm gonna write it.
All
I
right.
want to write it.
Okay.
And we might even write it while we're here.
Hey, whatever. Whatever
Um,
floats your boat, Jim. Sure show.
so So let me ask you this. What makes this so valuable? Did you just go to ChatGPT and said, "Hey, make me a course on how to how to develop a never quit mindset?"
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about a couple of things real quick. Um, we're gonna come back to this, Stu,
Okay.
but I want to talk to you about something that I was gone for a week. You know me, I go away for a week
Hmm.
and I come
Yeah.
back all
Come
revved
back
up.
smarter.
I don't know. I feel more like a 5-year-old revved up on 2 Pixie Sticks and a Jolt Cola. But I had some inspiration, Stu. Now, let me ask you a question. If 3 people have, let's say, a course, and all of them plus or minus have the same course. Let's say they have a course on how to, I don't know, what? How to do road. Okay, here you go. It's all how to catch, kill, or actually how to find and cook roadkill. Okay. Each one of them went to ChatGPT and had ChatGPT make them a course on how to cook roadkill. How much
Hmm.
is that course worth?
Not much.
Why, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it not worth very much? I'm being serious. The topic
Yeah.
says be
I mean,
zombie survival, whatever.
yeah. It's just gonna be probably fairly generic, and might just have a whole bunch of data in it that's not that useful until
Okay.
you make it your own and make it actual information.
Okay. So if if Tom, Dick, and Harry all go to ChatGPT and say, make me a roadkill cooking book, do you
Uh,
think they're pretty much going to plus or minus have the exact same thing?
Yeah, that's a good point
Okay.
too. Yeah.
So Tom decides that he's going to charge 29 bucks for his course. Dick says, "Oh, Tom's charging 29, I can charge 19 because I don't really have anything in this." And then what's Harry going to do?
Probably gonna drop it to 15.
Okay. And then when Tom sees that Dick and Harry are selling theirs for 19 and 15, what's he going to do?
Probably slash their price. Yep.
Slash prices, baby. He's going down to 13. They're all going to keep doing this until they finally end up where?
Um, Giving it away for free.
Right. They get a no, serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
It's there. There's a race to zero. Why? Because there's no value there. And you said data. They're just selling data. When you go to ChatGPT and have ChatGPT or anything make you something, it's just data because there's
Mm.
nothing else in it. It's data. So like a listicle is just data. It's in fact data is an acronym. And the acronym that I have coined for that is it's default answers to anything. That's what data is. When you just go to ChatGPT and you ask it to give you, roadkill cookbook, that is default answers to anything, especially when you're like, hey, give me a roadkill cooking checklist. Give me 15 roadkill recipes. And that's all you ask for. That's all you're getting is data. And everybody's selling the same data. Therefore, if everybody's selling the same thing, it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we have Hillbilly Harold. Now, Hillbilly Harold, and this is supposed to be
Doesn't have Chat GPT.
okay. He can't even spell Chat GPT. Okay, so little Harold, old Hillbilly Harold, his nephew, all right, Mountain Mac, he's into this podcasting thing. And so he goes out to Hillbilly Harold and he gets Hillbilly Harold to share all of his stories about how to find roadkill, how to evaluate roadkill on the side of the road so you don't get tuckered out chasing down spoiled squirrel. He shares with you all his mama's recipes for cooking it, how to preserve it, how to season it, and teaches you everything based on his personal experience about roadkill and how it's a renewable mountain meat source. Oh, mountainmeats.com. I have to see if that's available. Anyway, my point, or roadside relish. Okay, my point though is now this is real. And if you were a prepper or if you were a camper or one of these people you see on YouTube that's living out of their van, okay, how much is this course worth when it comes directly from the person and experience and contains their stories and opinions and unique perspective and the lessons and learns that they've gotten stuff?
He could name his price within
Let's
reason.
just, well, okay, within reason.
Yeah.
But let's say that Hillbilly Harold could get $197 for his. Is there any comparison between Tom, Dick, and Harry's data course or Hillbilly Harold's soul course, which is his stories, opinions, unique perspective, and lessons learned? No, no comparison whatsoever.
Right.
So what Harold could do, or little Mountain Mac here, actually, because he can at least spell ChatGPT, he can take Hillbilly Harold's stuff and then go into copyandcontent.ai and use the tools in there to create supporting materials. So we take the stories, we take mama's recipe, okay, or mama's perspective, and we load that into the checklist genie, and we use that to create a checklist for cooking prep. We use that for a checklist for seasoning based on the seasons. Do you see what I'm saying?
I like that.
And then a prep checklist. So now all of a sudden we are leading with soul and we are supporting with data. That was a major insight that I had on the epiphany that I had on the 7 C's. Now, data, a lot of people, when they think of data, they're thinking like computer data and other stuff like that. Think, like I said, default answers to anything. If anybody can ask it and get plus or minus the same thing, that's data. It's kind of like 2 + 2 is 4. There's a finite number of ways to make, to market your book or to spot roadkill on the side of the road. But the story about the first roadkill feast you had, at the mountain, whatever, I don't know what it is, but the stories and the experience and other stuff like that. So let's take this back to what you were talking about with your course. Here's a story that you told that I had never heard until now, or not now, but within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And you told the story, I've been a history nerd, military buff nerd. I know what around the world is in Bud.
Yeah.
Okay. And you told the story about around the world where you guys came in 3 hours faster than the next closest team.
Yeah.
And as a reward for busting ass when most people are just trying to survive, they let you dig a hole in the sand, get nut to butt with the guy in front of you, no homo, and then put a rubber boat over your head and you slept for 3 hours and said that was the softest sand you ever.
Most comfortable at a
Yeah.
full belly and most comfortable I've been ever. Remember
And
actually saying that.
that story perfectly illustrates the point that you were trying to make, which was on the other side of suffering is unimaginable comfort and a feeling of accomplishment. And there will be suffering whether you choose, you get to choose the suffering. You choose to either embrace the suffering and go through it, or the suffering will happen to you and you get to be a victim at the same time.
Yeah.
So either way, there will be suffering, there will be pain.
Yep.
And
That's a story I put in the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone article chapter.
and my
Yep.
point though is that story will stick with me forever now.
Cool.
But you could say, oh, get out of your comfort zone, guys. Okay, when I mean that doesn't do anything. But
Yeah.
now in that context and who you are and the story, I will listen to anything that you say about get out of your comfort zone. And when you tell that story, you could literally then go to the AI and say, hey, here's my story. Give me give me 10 quick tips for getting out of your comfort zone. I wouldn't give two shits where it came from, because after you introduce the story,
Yeah, that's a good point.
the data, because it's kind of like cutting down a tree or driving a car. There's standardized answers to everything, and
Yeah.
that's what AI gives you. But there's no soul in it, but it's still valuable. That's why, I've been harping on the whole soul thing, and people are like, well, you sell AI content and you're like anti-AI. No, I'm not. You just got to understand it's a tool, it's a support thing. It's kind of like, hamburger and
Hot dogs.
fries. Jesus.
I don't know. Jim.
Hamburger and fries,
Yeah.
but
Ketchup or
then
mustard.
right. But like the hamburger, if it's 100% Wagyu beef or whatever the fancy Japanese,
Yeah.
well done. It doesn't matter. I mean, actually, you just wasted your money. But my point is that if you're serving up the thing, it's like there's a default stuff that goes with it. And there's no value in the default stuff without the main thing that was made with soul, with love, with you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh,
All that's
100%.
just the extra trimming stuff.
Yeah.
So my point in all of this is that the soul is what's going to sell. The soul is what's going to make people stick. The AI stuff in and of itself, like if you're just thinking that producing AI stuff with none of you in it is going to do much of anything for you at this point, you're being like Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah.
It might be working right now, but it's not going to work much longer. I mean, I've seen people that have platforms where, you can put in a thing and it'll create a report, and then it'll write a not very good sales letter for you, and then it'll put it for sale. So like literally in 10 minutes, you can go from nothing to you've got some shitty little report for sale. And people are like, oh no, you're Tom, Dick, and Harry. You're trying to sell something that somebody else has given away for free, and there's no value in it. The value comes from the soul, not from the data.
Yeah.
So I'm that was a big thing, and the reason why I wanted to share that is because your course, the reason I'm so excited about it is because it's not a bunch of BS. It's you sharing from your experience, from stories, from, I mean, I even told you when I saw it the first thing, I needs more stories.
Yep.
Needs more stories. And I think that's something that we all can learn from. And I know all of you are going to be buying this course as soon as it comes out. So let's talk for a minute about, 4.5 hours. Just do, that's a long time. That's a lot. I need results now. I don't have time to watch 4.5 hours of stuff. I need help with a specific problem.
Well, it's 11 different videos. None of them last longer than 30 minutes.
Okay, so that's good. You jumped ahead on me. Um, okay, but that's good. When you think about the customer, all right, where am I at? Sorry, I've got glare. Talk about the way the course is organized. Okay, now you don't have to remember. So it's 4.5 hours. Boo, that's too long. Great. It's divided up into 11 lessons. None are more, they're all less than 30 minutes. And one of the things that you can always throw in your sales copy, and if you're in a real hurry, you can listen to it at double speed because I talk kind of slow. Okay, that's a little cool thing to put in parentheses.
Okay.
So you
point.
got 11 lessons. What are the lessons, Stu?
Each of the chapters of this book.
I know. Tell me, like, give me topics for the lessons. Like, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Comfortable being uncomfortable. Finding fuel when the tank is empty. No longer fear failure because it is a learning experience.
Okay.
Managing doubt. Building habits. Mitigating stress.
Okay.
And much, much more.
Okay. Look at you. I love it. All right. Mitigating stretch. I'm thinking of mobility. Okay. Now, what are each one of these? What can each one of these be turned into when we're talking about the sales copy? Bullets.
Oh, yeah. Bullets. Yes. Definitely.
Each one of these can be turned into 1 or 2 bullets. So, because when you said mitigating stress, and no, it's not through alcohol or, mitigating stress without alcohol or other destructive behavior. Well, that's pretty good. Okay. Failure, why failure doesn't equal failure and actually contains the seed of your greatest success. Oh, snap.
Yep.
Finding fuel when the tank is empty. How special operators keep going without sleep for a week, and how you can use the same secret in your life. Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, it's these are the kind of things that now we take what you've put in the course and we tease them with the bullets. Now, that story that you tell in the book, there's probably a story. Well, you tell it in the book, and then you also, I'm sure, tell it in the course.
Yes.
If you had to put your finger on one story that you could tell in your sales letter that would illustrate the never quit mindset in action, what would be a story that comes to mind? Don't worry about how you would tell it in the sales letter, but what would be a story that would come to mind?
I would even tell a story about one of my bud's classmates who had to go through Hell Week twice within a month.
Okay.
And he made it and had a 30-year SEAL career. And so I mean, and he beat cancer.
Okay.
I mean,
so you could probably tell a couple, 3 stories throughout the whole sales copy. And you could also think of stories that you could tell that would lead to it too. So those kinds of story, never quit story number 33. Tell the story and then it leads to the course. Never quit story number 27 leads to the course. I mean, hell, you could start with number 27 and be like, and that could be your first one. Right. I mean, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but what would be one that you could tell from your own perspective?
I would probably go back to the just almost failing out of Naval Academy, first semester, come home for Thanksgiving, just nothing is working right. I didn't make the football team, failed my first fitness test, failing
chemistry.
Calculus and chemistry. And my mom's like, "Won't you just come home? This sounds awful." And she goes, and I said without even thinking, "I can't quit."
And that was the instant that you discovered the never quit mindset. That was the instant when you discovered the never quit mindset. So that is the story to tell, but you need to say, let me tell you the story of the instant. I can remember the minute it happened when I discovered the never quit mindset that I have developed and passed on and taught people for the last 43 years. Here's exactly when it happened. And then you tell that story, and then you say, and I've used it countless times since then. I was in the middle of the Mediterranean on a little tiny boat waiting for a submarine to pick us up, realized there was a hole in the boat, and maybe there's some artistic license there. But I used it, here, and then that's important, but I'm not the only one. And inside, and we'll talk about so-and-so who went through Hell Week twice, 30-year SEAL career, battled cancer. We'll talk about so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, and like have 3 or 4 different ones that you don't tell the whole story. You just give a 1-sentence summary of each one. And now people, oh, hell yeah, I want to hear about that. I want to hear about that. And then what you could also do, again, anyway, my point is, what's going to sell this thing, what sells anything, is the soul, not the data.
Yes.
And I just really want to hammer that home, because this is going to be the difference between success and failure in the next couple of years. Because there's so much crap out there now that's just being generated by people who are just flooding the zone with junk.
Yeah.
And it's only getting easier to do that. And now, as we move forward, also things like AI agents and other thing coming along, they'll have AI pushing the AI crap. I mean, you'll think you're interacting with a person and you're not. And it's about to just get exponentially crazier.
When you were talking about this epiphany and what you realized with the lead with the soul and
support with data,
kind of reminded me of when I'm coaching people and people say, "Hey, I have this book and I'm doing the workouts and I'm not ready to run 20 miles a week yet."
Mm-hmm.
Right? I said, "Well, guess what? This wasn't personally written for you. This is a generic training program with a specific goal, but it's not personally written for you. If you want it personally written for you, there's the online coaching program that is, I will personally write it for you." So if you think about, kind of comparing what you were discussing to just everyday things that we have to deal with sometimes as entrepreneurs, you can kind of compare the two like that, if that makes any sense.
Sure. And the question would be, if you were the customer, all right, if you want a generic workout, then go to ChatGPT. If you just
Mhm.
want a generic workout, go to ChatGPT and it'll give you a generic workout. However, if you want a workout that is filtered through all of Stu's 43 years of experience, 1,500 Spec Ops warriors, over 10,000 military, police, firefighter. The way I tell this dude, I'm either the greatest, I'm either the greatest friend you ever had or a weird stalker because I pay attention to all the stuff you say. Okay. And has helped people have a 90% graduation rate from buds. Do you want that dude giving you a customized workout to help you reach your goals? Which one of those has more value? Well, obviously, this one. Why? Because this one might have just as much data. Hell, it might have stolen half the data from Stu's books. But it'll
Damn.
never have, AI has never experienced cold on a beach and wanting to quit. AI has never done a push-up. AI has never had a pool of sweat under its nose and its triceps and elbows feeling like they're about to detach from your body and trying to find the will to do one more.
Good one.
And it never can. So the question is, who do you want training you? Some AI robot that's just going to spit out data, or a dude who's been there, done that, and has multiple t-shirts? It's up to you. So that's, I mean, dude, we need to get this transcribed and we'll just
Yeah, that's some good training there, Jim.
we'll have the AI write the sales copy based on this. So, it's not like I'm anti AI. I'm
Of
not.
course not. Yeah.
But I believe that we've hit a fork in the road and people don't even realize it. Okay. And that is, and we've talked about this before, but I'm going to harp on it again. We've hit a fork in the road. And what do they say? When you hit a fork in the road, take it. This is the one where AI is going to replace people. And be careful what you wish for. Now, it's great to replace yourself in things that you just don't want to do, but at some point, you still got to be adding value to the world if you want to extract value from the world.
Yep.
And so, what you need to do is use AI to amplify and accelerate your sharing of your soul. And that's great. Okay. Looks like a TV, but it's a robot. This is the smart way. Now, there's plenty of room for this over here, but don't think that you're not going to have to do anything, because I have you seen any of these things on YouTube where people are like, hey, I built a $15,000 a day agency with AI agents and copy me. Have you seen any of those? Or
Yeah, a few of them. Yeah.
$300 a day on Google Maps and copy me. Here's the thing, bro. We're right there back to Tom, Dick, and Harry. And I use the example of the roadkill course, but now substitute anything where it's AI doing all the work, all the thinking, all the everything. Whatever it is that you put in there, okay? Whatever it is, if AI is doing all the work, there will be no money in it. Because it will be a race to the bottom. Oh, it's like, remember, this will show how old you are. Remember the TV show when we were kids, Name That Tune? I can name that tune in 2 notes, 1 note. Remember that? They would say
Yeah, I
they'd
love
play
that.
it on the
Yeah.
piano, da, da, da. I can name that tune in 1 note. I can name that tune in no notes. Whatever it is, if AI is the only thing involved, it will ultimately be free. It has to be.
That's a good point.
So just keep that in mind before you start thinking you're going to get rich with AI doing everything. Because you see the pattern over the years. Susan and I have seen it as well. But it's like everybody was going to get rich off of blogging. You know, it was like always the next big thing. It was blogging. It was blog and ping. It was God, what were they called? Smart pages. You know, all these things come along that are going to be the thing that you just set it, forget it, never. Directory sites, all these other things. I'm not saying that AI is not valuable. AI is going to do a whole lot of things that people used to be able to charge money for. And a lot of the things that people are making money from now, they're not going to make money, because it's not like somebody would pay a person $100 and then they'll pay AI to do $100, do it for $100. They might for the short term,
Yeah.
but then somebody, oh, I can have it do it for 90 and then 80, then 70, then 60, then 40, then this, then that, and that, and this. Look at like chatbots. Okay. ChatGPT, you can use that for free. You can also have the paid version, which has some other bells and whistles and shit on it. But basically, ChatGPT, you can use that for free. A multi-trillion-dollar worth company, I just yanked that, some people say,
Right.
okay, you can use it for free. And then you see everybody and their brother with their funnel builders and all that other stuff, they basically throw ChatGPT in for free. Everybody has their chat bot that's built in for free. And if you, I mean, those of you listening, if you wanted to have a chat bot added to anything you're doing, literally you can go to Fiverr and for less than $50, $100, you can have somebody set you up a chat bot on your site, and you can go get your API key from OpenAI, plug it in there, and have everybody go to town, and you would have AI on your site. It's free now in everything. So the most powerful, revolutionary thing to happen in the history of humanity, they say, is free in most people's minds. So how could you build a business on free? You can't. Now there's freemium and other shit like that. But the bottom line is, be careful, because it's fun. It looks cool, but you ain't going to get rich off of the way that people think they're going to do it. Okay. And that's why we teach in copyandcontent.ai. We have tools, but we teach process that includes the tools. We teach from experience that includes the tools. We teach from real world results that includes the tools. I'm not just selling the tools. If you just want tools, go join Jasper, and then you'll be like, oh, those tools suck. You want mine. It doesn't matter. Okay. What makes our stuff better is the process that teaches you how to use the tools to get a real world result. That's always been what has made us different in everything we've done. Don't teach what you don't know, and don't lead where you don't go. So I hope if you got one thing out of this, besides a cool acronym, that
is a cool
data
one.
is default answers to anything. Number one, there are a few things I want you to get out of this. Number one, you need to, sorry, my thing's misbehaving. Okay. Number one, you need to go buy Stu's course. Oh, Stu's course isn't available yet, but it will be. So make sure you go to StuSmithFitness.com and bookmark it. Number two, if you're not injecting your soul into the stuff that you create, you're not really doing anything. You're not creating or adding any value to the world, really. And you're certainly not going to develop something that you can actually make money from. So just hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's how the world works. Okay. So the great news is that in copyandcontent.ai, we can show you and teach you how to do that, because we're doing it too. And we're figuring it out as we go along the way. So Stu, I'll give you the final word.
Final word. I tell you what, I love that data acronym. That is something that's going to stick with me because I use data all the time when I, as a coach, trying to explain academic studies, scientific studies on physiology and things like that. But a lot of times in my world, data is really just a bunch of not useful information until you apply it in a certain way to make it useful information.
Like, for example, what would you mean? Like some
Like,
statistics or something?
yeah, statistics, heart rate monitors, speed, uh, body weight, all of these different metrics that we use in fitness and human performance doesn't, I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong, but until it is put into useful formats, it is not useful, right? It's just saying, oh, okay, that's how fast somebody ran. How's that apply to going to be a football player? How's that apply to going into SEAL training? So there's so many different avenues that, science takes us, which is great, but being able to utilize that data and make it useful is where the magic happens.
So what you're saying is this thing can create data and it can also interpret data and it can do all that good stuff. But the real value comes from taking that data, whatever it is, and having someone with experience
Yep.
process it and turn it into something useful for the consumer. And
Yeah.
usually that is why based on experience and how based on experience. And again, this can simulate experience. I mean, you can ask it, why should you do something? But it's very different than having someone who's actually coached people or done stuff or explained stuff or experienced stuff to explain why and how,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing it with a story or with a lesson that you learned or something from the real world and real practical experience. So this is going to become the coin of the realm. It used to be data and information was the coin of the realm. It was possession of information. I have information you don't have, so therefore I have an advantage over you. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
most of human history
Yeah.
is being able to have access to information and data and stuff that others didn't, so you could use it. Now then with the internet,
Yep.
information was
Everybody has data.
everywhere.
Everybody
Everybody
has too
has the
much
data.
data. Yes.
Right. And now we can simulate data and experience and other stuff, and it's even easier by doing the chatbot. But the real gold is the experience, is being able to filter that information through experience. And you can't get experience by doing anything other than doing something.
True.
So anyway, this has been a very fun conversation, Stu. I was hoping that we would have this
Yes.
because this is good stuff. And for those of you paying attention at home, we're going to have to sign off because in about 10 minutes, for elite members, we have genie hacking, where we are going to be talking about the 5 ways. There's actually more than 5, but we're going to be talking about 5 ways you can leverage your book, the actual contents of your book, with the tools inside of Copy and Content to help you sell your book. So who knows? We might be using Stu's book as an example, and we'll use my new book as an example, and it'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, everybody have a great day. If you are not a member of copyandcontent.ai yet, you should be. Head on over to copyandcontent.ai, sign up for an elite membership. If you are out of shape or want to be in shape or in shape, want to get in better shape, head on over to StuSmithFitness.com and check out one of his many books, and also pick up a copy of his latest, Never Quit Mindset. soon to be an amazing 4.5 hour course. So
There you
we'll
go.
talk to y'all soon. Great job, Steve.
Thank you.